Good morning, guys. In the last session, we discussed about what is Spring Web MVC and what type of applications we can develop by using Spring Web MVC.
Sir, your voice is very low, sir.
Yeah, is it audible now?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, in the last session, we discussed about what is Spring Web MVC, and what we can build using Spring Web MVC. And we also discussed about Spring Web MVC architecture. Can anybody talk about these 3 points in 2 minutes? What is the Spring Web MVC and what we can build by using Spring Web MVC and what we can build by using Spring Web MVC?
Yes, sir. Using Spring MVC, we can develop 2 types of the application. One is the web application and the second one is the distributed application.
Yeah, sir. So when we say web application, it's a customer to business kind of communication, and when we say distributed application, it's a business to business communication.
Okay, what is the difference between web application and the distributed application, guys?
In distributed application,
there is
no UI page.
Yeah,
Only
in the
backend.
distributed applications, we are going to develop the complete backend functionality. UI will not be available.
Basically, it's a web services, sir.
It's basically it is basically a web service that we are going to implement. Okay, so now can anyone tell me what is the architecture of our application? Spring Web MVC architecture, can anybody talk about that?
Yes, so in Spring MVC architecture, there are few of the components like dispatcher, servlet, handler, mapper, controller, or we can call it
view resolver as well. There are 6 components basically. So whenever the request from the client comes up, the dispatcher servlet acts as a front controller. It delegates the request, and the dispatcher servlet talks to handler mapper. These 2 are the predefined classes provided by Spring Web MVC.
Okay.
And then once the request comes based on the URL pattern, it will discuss the dispatcher servlet will talk to handler mapping, and then handler mapping will give you based on the URL pattern which controller
identify the
responsibility
control,
to identify.
controller.
It identifies the controller, and just like what we have login controller, registration controller. So we do have multiple based on the different responsibilities of the application. We do have multiple controllers, and then the controller will give me the model and view. Basically, model is a kind of map. It is the business object that my controller that the controller returns to dispatcher servlet, and based on that. Now a dispatcher servlet will talk to the view resolver. View resolver is nothing but kind of which particular view or the UI page has to render the response data to the customer, and based on that view is identified, and in the view the data is rendered, the response data is rendered.
Correct, sir. So guys, basically, when we are talking about the Web MVC is one of the famous and most used module available in the Spring Web MVC Spring framework. It is used to develop both the web applications as well as distributed applications, guys. Web applications, nothing but they will contain user interface. Customer can directly communicate with our business by using web applications, whereas distributed applications are very famous. Distributed applications are also very famous in the market. The distributed applications,
अभी बात कर लियो जान ला
the distributed applications are nothing but basically web services that we are going to develop. Those are backend applications, pure REST APIs we are going to develop by using this distributed application. Okay, and the next one, in the WebMVC, if you want to develop any application by using WebMVC, then we need to talk about the architecture of the WebMVC. So in the WebMVC architecture, in the last class we have seen dispatcher servlet is available, handler mapper is available, controller is available, model and view, view resolver, view component is available. Dispatcher servlet is a front controller that will take the request and give the response back to the user. And the dispatcher servlet will take the request and will give to handler mapper. Handler mapper will identify which controller is responsible. Handler mapper is going to identify which controller is responsible to handle this request. Okay, then handler mapper will identify the controller, will give it to the controller. Controller will execute the request. The logic will be available inside the controller. Controller will talk to service. Service will talk to repository. Repository will talk to the database, and the process will continue. The controller is responsible. The controller is responsible to handle the request. Controller is also called as request handler here. Okay, and the next one, model and view is available. Model and view is used to return the data to the dispatcher. Model means a map which will represent the data in the form of key and value pair. View is basically a logical file name. View is basically a logical file name that we are going to return, and view resolver to identify where the view files will be available, and view component, it is used to render model data. View component is used to render the model data. So are you guys clear with this point?
What is render model, sir?
Yeah, anybody having any questions on the architecture? If you are clear with the architecture, then we will start developing our application.
Sir, I have a
What
small
is render
doubt.
model data, sir?
Can we say that web applications are hosted on a web server while distributed applications are hosted on an application server?
It's not like that, sir. Both you can deploy on the both servers.
Okay, sir.
So web application and distributed application both can be deployed on the both servers. That's not any problem.
Mhm.
So what is render model, sir? Render model data.
Rendering the model means data. Whatever the data that you are sending in the key value pair, that data will be displayed in the UI page. That is called data rendering. Data rendering means printing the data on the web page. That is concept.
Populating also we can say, right?
Yes,
Sir?
right.
Populating the data.
Populating the data. Populating the data is basically called as a render process.
Sir, one question. So
Yeah, hi.
distributed application is the kind of the API only, right? And we are not going to give Swagger endpoint to end users to use, right? So ultimately, like we are going to integrate the API with the UI,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So like my question is here, like is there any way like we are using only distributed application only? We are not involving UI.
So backend APIs, we will come to that, sir. We will develop both. We will develop both, then you will get the better clarity on that part.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else having any other questions?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
the service class will return the model and view object, or
No, sir. Controller will call the service. Service will give some data. Then controller will return the model and view, not the service.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, can I elaborate what is the exact mean of model and view? Like,
So data, what data that you want to send to which page you want to send the data, control it. So if we develop one application, then you will get better clarity on that. So for time being, you remember, model means it is used to represent the data in the key value. View is a view page, presentation page, what you want to display to the end user.
okay. And what I mean say, like, is the object format or some UI?
Anything, sir. You can represent, UI only will return. In that UI, we can print object data, or you can print text data, whatever you want, you can send it from controller to the UI.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, when we use the one project dependencies in another project, so that kind of application is also called as
That is dependency. So now we are using Spring project in our project. So it's a normal application only. One project dependency you can use in another project. That's not a problem.
Yeah, okay, sir.
That's not a problem.
Sir, one thing, handler mapping will decide the request switch into which controller, and the view reservoir will decide in the response switch into which view page. Like,
Correct.
it's correct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this clear for everyone?
Sir, could you please explain again what happens in view resolver and why didn't get you previously?
Sorry, can you come again?
What happens in view resolver?
Your voice is not audible, Ritvika. Can you speak loudly?
What happens in view resolver and view? So I didn't get you previously.
View resolver is used to identify where the view file is available, and view is used to render that model data on the view page. Okay, we will see that. Practically, we will implement one application, then we will get better clarity on that part, madam.
Yes, okay, sir. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think we are good to go. Did anybody tried this example, guys? So I asked you people to do some research and implement this project before coming to the class. Trying to implement a web application before coming to the class. Did anybody tried that? Did anybody tried it?
Yes, sir. I tried it.
You tried that?
Yes.
Is it working for you?
Yeah,
Are
it
you
is
able
work-
to? Are you able to develop a Spring Web MVC application? I have not explained how to develop it, but did you try on your own?
Yes, sir. I have tried, but the HTML pages are not rendering. I have tried with time leaf syntax, but it's not rendering in the browser. I am getting the text message only. It's not, redirecting to HTML pages.
Okay, that's fine, sir. Good. So let us build our first Spring Web MVC based application, guys. Okay. So developing first Spring Web MVC application. So what is the process that we need to follow in order to develop our first Web MVC application? So the first step is create Spring Boot application. Create a Spring Boot application with the below dependencies. Okay, as you are creating a web application, then you need to add web starter dependency. Okay, and it is recommended to add the DevTools dependency also, guys. So web starter is mandatory. When you want to develop a web application by using WebMVC, then it is always recommended to use web starter dependency, and the next one, DevTools dependency. Web starter will provide embedded container to develop a web application, and the DevTools dependency will provide the option to restart your server when you make some code changes in the project. When you make some code changes in the project, then your server will be restarted automatically when you are having the DevTools dependency in your project build path. Then second step, guys, once this project is created, then the second step, create controller class using @controller annotation. Okay, create controller class using @controller annotation. So if you want to represent a class as a Java controller, we need to use one annotation called @controller. Then inside that controller, create required methods, and map them to URL pattern. So whatever the methods you want, you can create those methods and you can map those methods to the particular URL pattern based on the demand, based on the requirement. You can create one method and you can map those methods to the URL pattern according to your requirement. You can create a method and you can map that method to particular URL pattern. It can be a get method or it can be a post method. You can do that. Okay, so if you want to map it to the get request, then you will use get mapping. Okay, it is mapped to HTTP get request. If you want to go with the post request, then you will go for the post mapping, then it will be mapped to post. Get and post are mainly used methods when we are developing web applications. Get and post methods are very commonly used methods when we are working with web application. When you go for the distributed application, then we can use put method and delete methods also. Once these methods are completed, okay, then next one, create view page. Here one more dependency I forgot to add, guys, which is a time leaf. We are using time leaf as a dependency, right? We are going to use time leaf as a presentation technology in our application. So we need to add the time leaf dependency here. Create view page. So this is basically HTML under below location. The view pages we need to create under src main resources and templates. So templates is the location where we are going to create our HTML pages. Templates is basically the location where we are going to create our HTML pages. Create required methods and map them to URL pattern, get mapping, post mapping. Create view page, nothing but a HTML page we need to create with the below location. src main resources templates folder will be available. Once this view page is completed, we are good, guys. Then run the application and test it. Okay, so if you have Oracle DB installed in your system, then change Tomcat server port number using application.properties file. So by default, whenever you develop a web application by using MVC, it will take Apache Tomcat as a embedded container. It will take Apache Tomcat as the embedded container. Apache Tomcat will start with the port number 8080. If you have Oracle database installed in your system, then you need to change the Tomcat server port number in the properties file. So the property is server.port is equal to some 9090 you can set. By default, it will use port number 8080. If you have Oracle database, then 8080 will not support in your system because Oracle will be using 8080. So that's why you need to change the port number. To change that port number, there is a file called application.properties file available. In that file, we are going to change server port with 9090. Are you guys able to follow me? Are you guys able to follow me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Fine. So what are the steps we need to follow to develop our application? First one, create the application with the dependencies, web starter, time leaf starter, and dev tools. Then we need to create the controller class by using one annotation called @controller. So this is used to represent our Java class as a controller. It will take the request and it will give the response. Then inside the controller, you can create the methods, and those methods we can map to the URL pattern by using get mapping and post mapping. Then we can create the view pages. The view pages basically HTML pages we are creating. The location to create the view pages. So src main resources templates folder will be available in order to create the view pages. Then we will run the application and we are going to test it. In our system, if Oracle database is already installed, then we need to change the Tomcat server port number. To change the Tomcat server port number, we are going to use one property server.port in the 9090, server.port in the application.properties file. So if you are clear, then I will create the first application and I will execute that first application, guys. Are you clear with the procedure?
Yes, sir.
To develop first application? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now go to your IDE, then file, new, Spring Starter project. At the time of creating the project, you can select the dependencies directly. So this is our 01 Web MVC app. Web MVC application. Maven is a build tool. Okay. Package name in.ashok ID I'm using. Click on next. dependencies. So I'm not communicating with the database now. So JPA is not required. In future applications, we will add the JPA. Let me go with the WebMVC. Spring WebMVC dependency will be available. You can type a name called Spring Web. Yeah. I'm typing the name as Spring Web. Select that. Then next one, time leaf. For the UI, we are using time leaf. So select time leaf dependency. And to restart the servers automatically, I'm using DevTools as a dependency. So total 3 dependencies I'm taking. Click on next and click on finish. So with this, our first Spring Boot application is getting created. You can right click on the project and choose close unrelated projects. Remaining projects I'm closing. Only this current project will be open. The remaining projects will be closed and only this current project will be open. Then, so our first step is completed. We created the project. Then create the controller class, guys. So go to main Java. Yeah, still project is getting created. Yes. Refresh. Project got created. Go to main Java. Here application.java is available. This is a start class. So you can run the start class and you can check Tomcat server is getting started or not. So if your 8080 port number is not used, then Tomcat server will be started for you. If 8080 port number is already used, Tomcat server will not start. You can see whether Tomcat is working or not. Yes, in my system, Oracle database is not available. So that's why Tomcat server is working. 8080 port number I'm able to use. Then let me stop the project. Then create the controller. So right click, new class. So I'm going to create a class inside a package called controller package. Package naming convention, very important, guys. I'm following base package naming convention. My controller name I'm giving as message controller. Controller name I'm giving as message controller. So this is a Java class now. How to represent this class as a controller? To represent this as a controller, we are using one annotation called @controller annotation. Using one annotation, that is @controller annotation. Now, so with this, we completed our second step also. Next, create the methods and map them to URL pattern. Okay, so how to create the methods and how to map them to the URL pattern? So let's go here, public string get welcome message. So we are writing a method, public string get welcome message method. So in this method, you can write the logic that whatever you want. Now I want to write a message text. Message text is equal to something like this, welcome to Ashok IT, right? So like this, I'm taking the controller method. My method is returning a string, but actually as per our architecture understanding, controller should return model and view object. So let us take this model and view object. This method will return model and view object as a parameter. Model means data, view means logical file name. So I'm going to create model and view object and I will return that. Model and view, MAV is equal to new model and view object. MAV dot add object data in the form of key and value. The key is message, value is message text. Key I'm keeping as a message and value I'm keeping as message text. Then what is the view page you want to return? MAV dot set view name. I want to return the view page as index. That means index.html file will be available in our application. So this is our controller method. So currently we are fixing the data, static data, we are declaring as a variable and we are creating model and view object. Model and view is written by the controller method. Model will represent the data in the form of key and value. View represents logical file name. So when customer send a request to my application, I want to return index page as a response. This method I want to map to the get request. To map this method to the get request, we will use annotation called get mapping. Okay, so what is the annotation? That is get mapping annotation URL pattern /welcome. That's it. So this is our controller method. This is our controller method. I'm going to write this method once again. So I want to create one controller. What is the purpose of controller? Controller is responsible to take the request. It is responsible to handle the request. How to represent a class as a controller? To represent our Java class as a controller, we are using @controller annotation. And inside this controller, we can write the methods. How to write a method? Public. What is the return type? The return type is model and view. Method name can be anything. Get welcome message. So I need to return the object, which is model and view. Okay. MAV is equal to new model and view. I'm creating the object and I need to return this object. Return model and view. Return model and view. So set the data in the form of key and value and return view page. So the data that I want to set, MAV dot add object, key comma value, key anything. I'm using key as message. And what is the value? Value I'm using welcome to Ashok IT, something like this. Then where you need to display this message? What is the view page to display this message? MAV dot set view name. The view name I'm taking as index. Index page I'm going to return. Okay, index is basically HTML. And this is my method in the controller. So simple. I'm writing one method and I'm returning model and view. Model means data in the form of key and value. And view is a logical file that I want to display. Then next, map this method to the URL pattern. To map this method to the URL pattern, I'm using get mapping and URL pattern /welcome I'm giving. So this is my controller method, which is mapped to get request with a /welcome URL pattern. Okay. I hope you got the understanding. I hope you got the understanding how to create a controller class and how to create a controller method. And remember, whatever the controller class you are creating, it is following base package naming convention. Then only object will be created. Let us write a constructor to understand whether for controller class object is getting created or not, and how many objects are getting created for the controller. Okay, so this is a spring bean. What is the scope of the spring bean, guys? Controller is a spring bean. What is the scope of the spring bean?
Singleton.
Singleton. So how many objects will be created for this controller?
Only one.
Only one object will be created for this controller. Okay, that's fine. Next up, once this controller class is ready, okay, we are able to create the application, we are able to create the controller, and we are able to create the method and map them to URL pattern. Then create the view page. Where to create the view page? Main resources, templates. Okay, go to the project, go to the resources, main resources, templates available, go to the templates and create one HTML file. Create file, file name. I'm creating the file name as index.html. Click on finish. Okay, so with this my HTML file is ready. There you can write head tag, okay, HTML tag, head and all. Is this head tag is available and body tag is available. So like this you can create HTML head and body. Inside the head you can keep your title, whatever that you want, and inside the body I want to display the text. Okay, th colon text is equal to $of message. So message is basically the key, whatever the key that you are sending from the controller to UI, that key we are using. Here I am setting data in the form of key value pair. Setting the data in the form of key and value pair. So that data you can access in the view by using key name. And here setting view name. So what is the view page that you want to give as a response to the client? That view name I'm setting by using set view name method. So I created view page, whatever the name I am using. With that name I created index.html. In the index.html, I'm accessing the key by using $th:\text means it is a time leaf tag, guys. Okay, th means time leaf here, not a table head. So th means time leaf :text. I want to get the value of this key. Controller sending the data in the form of key and value. Using this key, I want to access that value. $of key, that will give the value for you. Are you guys able to follow this? Are you guys able to follow this?
Yes, sir.
So what is th here? What is the meaning of th here? What is the meaning of
Time leaf.
th here?
Time leaf.
Time leaf.
Yes, th is basically a time leaf. So what is time leaf? Time leaf is used to build dynamic web pages by using HTML, guys. It is used to build dynamic web pages by using HTML. Generally HTML is used to create static web pages. HTML is basically used to build static web pages. But by using this time leaf, we can build dynamic web pages also by using HTML. Are you guys able to understand my point? So by using HTML, we can build static web pages. But by using time leaf, you can build dynamic web pages also. All right. So with this, we are able to create our application and we are able to create the view pages also. Finally, run this application and test it. So if you have Oracle database installed in your system, then change the Tomcat server port number using properties file. So in my system, Oracle database is not available. So let me go to application.java and let me run this boot application and see controller class object is getting created or not. Yes. Can you guys see this? For the controller, object is created or object is not created?
Created.
For the controller, object got created. Okay, now let me clear the screen. That's it. Now go to browser and let us access our application. So application running on the port number 8080. It is running in my local system. So I'm using localhost : 8080. What is the URL pattern of the method, guys? What is the URL pattern I have given for the method?
Welcome. Welcome.
/welcome. So here we are going to use localhost : 8080/welcome. Am I able to get the response? Which page is loading now? Index.html page is loading. Okay, so this is our index page. Index.html page is available, right? So here let me write h3. This is index page. Message from controller. Message coming from controller. The message coming from the controller, which is pth:\text here. Now, so we have our application. Now, can you see my index page is loaded? The message I'm getting from the controller, which is welcome to Ashok IT. Did I restart my server? No, I have not restarted my server because HTML change only we are doing. It will be reloaded directly. So with this, we are able to develop our first web application and we are able to access. This message is coming from my controller. So similarly, can we create one more controller method, guys? Can we create one more method in the controller?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very simple, right? So just you need to write a method and return model and view object and map that controller to the URL pattern. So I'm taking one more method, public model and view get greet message. I'm taking another method. So create model and view object. Observe carefully. Controller method will return model and view object. So create model and view MAV is equal to new model and view object. Set the data to the model. Set data to model in key value format. Okay. MAV dot add object. Add object is the method which is used to set the data. MAV dot add object key comma value. So key is message and key is message value good morning. Anything. Okay. Then set view name. Set view name. MAV dot set view name index. Both methods are key using same key and same view name. Then finally return model and view object from the controller. And how to map it to URL pattern, different URL. Already welcome is used by one method. Now I am using greet. Okay. So you need to make sure every method is having unique URL pattern. You need to make sure that every method is having unique URL pattern. Are you guys able to understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now let me start the application again. Clear the screen. Refresh the project. Right click. Run as boot application. Message controller constructor object got created. Now go here /welcome. When I access /welcome, welcome to Ashok IT is coming. And when I access /greet, good morning is coming. So am I able to access two methods available in the controller? When I hit the URL with the /welcome, I'm getting welcome to Ashok IT. When I hit the URL with the /greet, I'm getting good morning as a message. So when I send two requests, controller object is created or controller object is not created?
Not created.
Controller object is created or object is not created?
Not created.
How many objects will be created for the controller?
Only one.
Only one.
Only one object will be created and multiple requests can be sent to the single controller. And in one controller, we are writing multiple methods also. Fine. So next one, if you want to change the port number, okay, for example, 8080 I can't use. If you have Oracle database installed in your system, then what you need to do? Go to properties file. Inside the properties file, you need to write one property, server.port. Okay, server.port, you can use 9090. That is fine. The default port number is 8080. If you don't want that, then you can go with the port number 9090. Clear this one. Okay, refresh. Run as boot application. You can check on the console. Your server is started by using which port number? Constructor object got created. It is a singleton bean. Yes. Now my server is running with the port number 9090. All right. So let us go here and let us access. 8080 will not work now. Go for 9090. Localhost colon 9090/welcome. Yes. Index page will be loaded and I'm getting the message welcome to Ashok IT. And the next one, localhost colon 9090/greet. Localhost colon 9090/greet. So both methods are returning the same view, HTML. Okay. So if you see my greet controller method, greet method returning index as a view name, welcome method returning index as a view name, key is a message. Here value good morning, here value welcome to Ashok IT. So this is my index page. In this index page, I'm getting the value based on the key. So that means controller is sending the data to the UI. How the controller sending the data to the UI? By using model and view object. Now, guys, in this entire development, am I creating dispatcher servlet object? Am I creating dispatcher servlet?
No, sir.
Am Am I creating handler mapper object?
No, sir.
No, I'm not creating dispatcher servlet. I'm not creating handler mapper. Am I dealing with the view resolver, view component? No. So
No.
the complete architecture is internal working flow, guys. The complete architecture is internal working flow. So you no need to do that. You no need to do that. Spring Web MVC will take care of it internally. So this is our Web MVC architecture diagram that we have seen, right? Now, so whatever the application we developed, now you need to understand your application execution with this diagram. All right. So I am going to send a request /greet. So when I send a request /greet, then what is happening? The request is going to my dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet is a front controller. It is responsible to handle the request and send the response to the client. Handle the request and send the response to the client. That will be taken care by dispatcher servlet. And it is a predefined class in the Spring Web MVC. Then immediately dispatcher servlet is sending that request to the handler mapper. It will give the request to the handler mapper. So what is the responsibility of this handler mapper? Based on this URL pattern, handler mapper will identify which controller class will handle this request. /greet. /greet URL pattern is available in the message controller class. Then handler mapper will identify which controller is responsible to handle the request and give the controller data to the dispatcher servlet. Then dispatcher servlet will go to that controller and will call that controller method. Then what controller is doing? Controller is executing the logic. Here the logic is available. Currently I am not writing any service and repository. Just controller will execute the logic and controller is returning model and view object. What is this model and view object? Data plus view page. So data we are adding to the model by using add object. Key value. Key is string. Value I am taking as a string only. Value can be anything. Value can be one object. Value can be list of objects also. Value can be one object and value can be list of objects also. Right. So I am sending the data from controller to UI by using this model and view. So model representing data in the form of key and value, and view is representing logical file name, model and view object. Controller is returning that model and view object to the dispatcher servlet. Then internally, dispatcher servlet will go to view resolver. It will go to view resolver. It will identify where the view files are available. Where the view files available? View files available in the templates folder. View name is index and view file index.html. It will identify the view file location and will give to dispatcher servlet. Then dispatcher servlet will give that model data and view file to the view component. Then view component will render this model data, whatever the key and value we are sending right in the form of model. So in the view file, based on the key, we need to get the value. So map.get of key value, that is called rendering. Based on the key, it has to get the value. That part will be taken care by our view component. That is called rendering the data. Once the data is rendered, then view component will give the HTML page to dispatcher. Dispatcher will send that HTML as a response to the client that we are getting. So when I send request with /welcome, I'm getting a response. So the response is coming in the index page because my controller is returning model and view data plus view name. So this is the Spring Boot Web MVC first application development. Are you guys able to understand? Are you guys able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So very easily, we are creating our first Web MVC application. Spring
So you
Boot,
have written only one controller and the
two methods.
web page.
Yes, one controller, two methods available, and one web page is available.
And
Like
what
this
is
you
the
can
time
create-
leaf here, sir? Just
Sorry?
a question. time leaf. Why we are using time leaf here to get the data?
Dynamic response in the HTML.
Okay.
Generally, what is the purpose of HTML?
To display the
Static web content, right?
static web page, and if we need to get the data, you have to use a JavaScript kind of.
Right. So to work with static web pages, we will go with HTML. But by using time leaf, you can display dynamic data in the web pages. So
Okay.
controller will send the data by using key and value. To access the value based on the key, we are using time leaf. To access the value based on the key, we are using time leaf. So inside the time leaf, HTML, we are using time leaf, right? th::text. So based on this key, it will get the value. That is called data rendering process. Who is responsible for that data rendering process here? Who is responsible for the data rendering process here?
View, sir.
Who is taking care of the data rendering process? View. View component is taking care of the data rendering process.
Some small notes, sir.
Yes. Are you clear?
Some small notes, sir.
Good. Fine, guys. So
Sir,
with this,
one doubt.
yeah, tell me.
So if the dispatcher servlet is sending, handler mapping is identify the class name, right?
Yes.
For example, message controller.
Yes.
But it's
it can
actually it is
identify
getting,
the class name as well as the method name also. It will give the class and method details to the dispatcher. Then dispatcher will go and call that method. That method will return model and view object.
what if we can have multiple controller class, right?
URL pattern should be unique, sir. When you have multiple, you can have 100 controllers also, 200 controllers also. You need to make sure you are giving unique URL pattern. You got my point? Yes. Suppose if I write one more method, suppose method name is M1, and if I give the same URL pattern, greeter. One method is having greeter, another method also having greeter. If URL patterns are same, then your application cannot start. URL pattern ambiguity problem. Application cannot run. See here, in the controller, I'm using two methods with the same URL pattern. Okay, so this is my message controller. So two methods I'm writing with the same URL pattern, then it is going to fail. You need to make sure every method is having unique URL pattern. Every method is using unique URL pattern. Now see, my application is failed. It is not getting started because greet is already used by one method. Every method should have the unique URL pattern.
Is it case sensitive, sir?
Sorry?
Is it case sensitive?
Yeah, URL patterns are case sensitive.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, our get mapping and post mapping are related to handler mapping, sir?
These are related to request, sir. Get request, post request. Currently, I'm using get request. They are not related to handler mapper. Handler mapper is only responsible to identify which request should be handled by which controller class and which method in the controller class. That identification will be taken care by handler mapper.
Sir, with the different endpoints we can use for same method?
I did not get your question.
Different endpoints we can use for different methods. That is the URL, no?
Endpoint means URL pattern. So every method will have its own URL pattern. So generally in the servlets, when you create multiple servlets, every servlet will map to different URL pattern, right? Similarly, yes. When you create multiple methods, multiple classes, no problem. You can do that, but URL pattern should be unique.
Okay.
Yeah. Similarly, guys, now I can create one more controller also.
So here, sir,
let me complete the session. Doubts I will take at the end, sir. If I am allowing the people to ask the doubts, then class will not happen.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So let me create a class, a new class, and the class name I'm using as product controller. Class name can be anything. Okay. And I want to represent this class as a controller. So then for this one, I will use again @controller annotation. So like this in one project, you can create multiple controller classes. Like this, you can create multiple controller classes in one project. Then here also, let us write a constructor product controller system.out.println. Okay, product controller, and for this constructor we are using. Then next one, here we need to write a method public model and view get product data, something like that, or get product price, something, any name you can write for the method. Then you create model and view object and you return model and view MAV is equal to new model and view, and finally return model and view. Set the data to the model and view, set data and set view name. You can create multiple view pages also. Set data, so MAV dot add object. Okay, so the key is P, or else I can use price, and here I'm using Apple mobile price, something like this, 65,000. That is my key and value. And where you want to display this data, you can use a different view. Set view name. This view name I'm using as product page. Okay, product page.html. So like this, you can write a method and let us map this method to different URL pattern. Okay, so at the rate get mapping, and the URL pattern I'm using /product. So this is one controller. To represent this class as a controller, we are using @controller annotation. Then inside that controller, I'm writing one 0-param constructor to understand how many objects are created for this controller. And here I'm writing one method in the controller. This method is mapped to get request by using one URL pattern called /product. And I'm creating model and view object. Okay, so it is used to represent data and it is used to represent view page. So data is in the form of key and value, and view name product page. View name you can take anything. So earlier I have taken index, now I am taking product page.html. So create that view page. Index.html page is available, right? Similarly, I'm going to create one more page called product page. Product page.html. In this product page.html, now I am going to change. This is product page. Okay, message coming from the controller. So what is the message? Price, right? Key. What is the key I am using? Key is
Product.
price. Yes.
Sorry.
Now take this key and use the dollar of key. When you use a dollar of key, it will get the value based on the key. Okay. So with this, second controller is ready. Look at this controller. Guys, are you clear with this product controller?
Sir, that set view name product page is a HTML page, right?
HTML page, correct.
Okay.
In the earlier controller, we used index, that is index page, index.html. We don't keep .html. We'll just give the file name. Extension we will not give here. Okay. Similarly, in the product controller also, we are giving the view name as product page. That means it is product page.html I have created. So in the templates folder, product page.html. Okay. Let me run the application. Go to start class and run this. So when you run the application, Tomcat server will be started by default, which is embedded container, guys. Okay, now you see there are two controllers available. For two controllers, the objects got created. Message controller object created, product controller object created. Now go to browser / port number 9090. In the properties file, the port number is 9090. So let's go here 9090/welcome. So we are getting welcome message 9090/greet, and we are getting greet message. Next one, localhost : 9090/product. Localhost : 9090/product. Now we are getting product page also. Are you clear with my point?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand how to create a controller, how to send data from controller to UI by using model and view object? How to send the data from the controller to UI by using model and view object? Are you guys clear with my point now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next up, based on this knowledge, now what I want you to implement is develop one application. Already we learned data JPA, we inserted employee records, right? So now you need to develop one employee controller. When I send the request to employee controller, you need to get the employee data and you need to display in the web page in a table format. Spring WebMVC data JPA integration now. So this is currently I'm getting some static data only. Now I want you to create one employee controller, and when I send the request to /employees, you need to get the table data and you need to display in the UI page. So develop Spring WebMVC application, develop Spring Boot application to display employees data in HTML table format. Develop Spring Boot application to display employees data in HTML table format. Data is available in the database. Spring Boot application to get employees data from DB table and display that data in HTML table format. So we need to do Spring Boot with data JPA integration. Table is already available. We already created the table, we inserted the data manually. Now I want you to get the data and display that data in the table in the HTML format. So it is simple, something like this. If you go to our website, when you go to online training, I'm getting the data and I'm displaying in the table format like this. So go to our Ashok IT website, and in that website, when you click on online training, we are getting the data and we are displaying the data in the table format. I want you to implement the same requirement. So instead of this courses data, we have employee data in the table. So you need to get the employee data and you need to display that data in a table format. Are you guys clear with my point? You understand my requirement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, anybody having any questions? I want you to complete this requirement before coming to tomorrow's session.
Sir, if we want to implement the H2 database, that is the in-memory database.
That is, I will explain, sir. How to work with H2, I will explain that. Currently, we are using MySQL. Now, you work with MySQL database.
All right. Thank you.
Sir, when there are multiple requests to the controller, it's executed in like how it's executed. It's executed multi-threading mode.
Yes, sir. Server will take care of your request processing, sir. So server will take care of multi-threading process to execute every request. For controller, only one object will be created. Whenever you send a request, for every request, one thread will be created by the Tomcat server to handle your request.
Sir, the dispatcher servlet is configured in which file? Web.xml? Somewhere can you please show us, sir?
Web.xml is not available here, sir. There is no web.xml.
Okay. Like the servlets are defined in web.xml, right?
No,
sir?
for that, here web.xml files will not be available directly at the controller and the URL pattern. No web.xml. Everything is annotation based here.
So in the Chrome, sir, in localhost 1990, we can use the slash. We can use the Chrome, sir, localhost to 1990 port number slash mano controller name. We can use the three. We can implement the three controllers. We can use the directory. We can print on the single page.
I can't understand your question, sir. Whatever you are asking.
We can
speak loudly. Guys, anybody can hear his voice? Guys, can you hear his question?
So we can print on the data in the Chrome, sir. Localhost 1990 slash greet. We can use the URL, sir.
Based on the URL, we can access it, sir.
Okay, sir. We can use the three URLs. We can display in the single page or not, sir?
Yes. If you have three methods, three URLs will be available. Now I have my controller. One controller having two URLs, another controller having one URL. Message controller, greet message available, welcome message available. Product controller having product URL. So two controllers available, three methods available.
Okay, sir.
How to set the default error page or for
exception handling? I will discuss that, sir. Exception handling we will discuss in the coming classes.
Okay. And session
exception handling I will explain.
Okay.
So whatever that we discussed today, any questions from this and any questions regarding the assignment, you can ask me.
Sir, we have two endpoints like greet, one endpoint related to get method and one endpoint related to post method. Like, is it
not post, sir? Both I am using get methods only now. There is no post method here.
No, it's assumed like one greet is related to post and one greet is related to get. It is allowing.
Yes, it will allow that, sir. If your methods are different, URL pattern can be same. I'm not talking about post method now. In the coming classes, we'll discuss about the post method.
Okay.
Okay. So I have uploaded the notes, guys. So please go through that and complete. So because every time you no need to change the port number, add the DevTools dependencies, sir. It will automatically restart your server. You no need to change the port number every time, or else stop your server properly. If you add the DevTools dependency, then server will be restarted automatically. You no need to change it every time. Okay.
Yeah. Sir, in real time, request will come to the Angular or React page. Yes or no, sir?
Yes, sir. That is full stack, sir. You forget about it, sir. I am not talking about front-end applications. Now you work on this Spring Boot application. Okay.
Okay. Sir.
How it will come to the React and Angular, then how it will come to the Spring Boot, that we will discuss later. When we go for the REST API, then you will understand that point.
Okay. When I start my time-leaf based project, I'm getting white label as a switch. How do I get rid of that, sir?
White label error means your controller is not recognized properly. There is a mistake in your URL pattern or your view page is not available. So n number of reasons can be available.
Okay.
Yeah, check it. Base package name is matching or not. Check the controller class object properly creating or not. Check your view page available in the correct location or not. So all these things, if you do it properly, then definitely it will work.
Okay.
So maybe the name of
controller or controller annotation.
@ controller is used to represent our class as a string controller. Then only it can take the request and you can process your request.
Sir, by using DevTools dependency, the server will restart, right?
Yeah, when you make the code changes, the server will be restarted automatically.
The code changes means only Java code or
same port number it will restart the server.
Sorry, sir, right? But the Java code only or any changes like XML
any
file,
changes, any changes.
Okay.
Yes. Fine. Thank you, guys. So work on the assignment. Tomorrow we'll connect.